come across this tarot reading, you are supposed to be working with celebrities. Now, to some of you, it might sound out there, and for others of you listening to me, and what I'm hearing very specifically is if you're listening to me from the ears of the soul, this is going to ring as true. All right, where you're meant to hold healing space for celebrities. That's what's coming through here. All right, it's going to be big. And the thing is, it's like you're meant to be visible. There's a reading that I did maybe a few months ago of you're going to be known, but your life will be private. But that's the key thing here, where you're going to heal others. It almost seems like in privacy. I'm seeing not large groups. I'm not seeing like these big ceremonies, this or that. It's going to be a few people or just simply exclusive, private, one-on-one. I see you being a celebrity guru. The key word here is this is not ego desire. I'm seeing this as truth for you. We do have Ma'at, angel of balance. Butterflies, feeling complete, can't stop smiling, happiness and devotion. Door to spirit, door to personal healing and happiness, and all tied up. Where what I'm seeing is you attracting people who are of high level net worths, celebrities. One, what I'm seeing is you have the ability to do this in such a safe and sacred way where it's like through privacy, exclusivity. But again, not in a bad way, but privacy as far as it's safe to unwind. Think of a celebrity, right? A celebrity that wants to feel vulnerable. A celebrity that they go out there and the whole world is nitpicking at them all day, every day. Millions and millions of people and tabloids. God forbid a celebrity goes to the grocery store with their hair undone. It's like a scandal. You have been designed perfectly for, and what I'm seeing is high value net worth, celebrities, people who usually, where it's hard, to find someone to trust or to be vulnerable with, they can be vulnerable with you. The armor can come off, all tied up here. There's nothing that's going to get out, there's nothing of this or that. There's no hidden intention. Celebrities aren't used to that. And think of the wounds a celebrity may have, where everybody sees them, nobody actually sees them. You're someone that is actually meant to see celebrities, but here's the thing, you actually don't give a fuck. You don't care. And celebrities aren't used to unconditional love, and it's not just, say, celebrities. It could be, say, high value net worth, things like that. But what I'm seeing in this reading is for celebrities. But the key thing is here is you are like that safe spiritual doorway. Door to spirit, door to personal healing and happiness. But you're also a spiritual practitioner, a healer. And that's what I'm getting. This reading is very specific. A healer, a spiritual practitioner. You don't care about the secrets you don't care about their skeletons in the closet. You don't care. You're not someone who's coming in to just be another story of a tabloid or this or that. You just want to love. That's it. You don't care how big their shadow is. We didn't come here to judge and criticize the shadow. We came here to bring it to God, to shine light upon the shadow. Who cares what shadow it is, and who cares who it belongs to? That's you. You are a healer. You are a practitioner. For some of you, like a doctor. Because it has to do with the spiritual, emotional, mental, say, of a celebrity. So you could be like a therapist, a doctor, a spiritual healer, a spiritual practitioner. But keyword of spirit, because you open the door of spirit. But what I'm seeing is actually for celebrities that are often tied up. There's no safe space. For a celebrity, the only way it could be safe is if you sign an NDA kind of thing. And that in itself is sad, right? But if we think of it through the mirror, right, the reflection, say, of the celebrity, it shouldn't have to be like that, right? You're going to meet people who feel all tied up in money, in industry, and this and that. And you are their safe space to let it all out. Tell me all the things that you feel about the tabloids that you don't tell anybody else because you can't. Tell me how vulnerable you may feel of having visibility, despite the fact that people see you as greedy, as this, as that. They don't really see you. You're the one who, like, celebrities are kind of going to, like, tell how they really feel too. But because you're someone who's, like, trustworthy, you're also not someone who's going to try to take things away from them. Not at all, you know. Should I give this example? I have a deck here that says yes or no. Should I give this example? It says yes, baby. Friendship, 3 of Cups over here. Okay. So yes, I can share this example. I once met a therapist that I observed in her something. I met a therapist that was a therapist, but she couldn't stand celebrities. And so she's holding the spaces in therapy, but this therapist admitted to me. She admitted it to me of like, oh, these greedy people, these this, that. Oh, just get used to it. It's a good thing they're in this therapy session. It's a good thing they're crying and this and that. They should learn a lesson from having so much. That's not the type of therapist you're going to be. And those are the type of therapists that should be actually staying away from celebrities. I'm not a therapist. I am not a doctor. This is just entertainment and educational purpose only. Disclaimer. But what I do see here, you know, is you're that person that's not going to shame them. That's why you're perfect to be working with celebrities. I'm not saying perfect from ego desire. This is your destiny. You were chosen for this. I'm not going to shame you for how much you have. I'm here for you to come back home to yourself so you could actually have more. I'm here to just guide you through these awakenings so you can hold on to what you have and multiply it, expand it for yourself, for God, for all. But I do remember that therapist that admitted to me that she couldn't stand like her own clients that had a lot of like, well, I mean, they're getting attacked by everyone online, but have you seen their prices? They deserve it. That's not okay. You know, like a celebrity probably doesn't want a therapist like that. You are a safe space for celebrities. This reading is very interesting. Now, whenever you're watching this, it can be for you. The reading is general and timeless for all zodiac signs. And if you would like a personal tarot reading, a private one-on-one session with me, or to download our new Akashic Records mini course, just a beginner's intro for accessing your own Akashic Records, check out the box below, the website 144bluerosetemple.com. It has everything else that you will need. 3 of Swords, Ace of Swords, Truth. What do we have? What do we have here for the collective on, you're meant to be working with celebrities. Why do we have door to spirit, door to personal healing and happiness, all tied up for they're supposed to be working with celebrities. You are going to heal celebrities in ways that other people can't. This reading is interesting. Now, by celebrity, please keep in mind that people sometimes think tarot readers are celebrities. I can't control what anyone else thinks. I don't think that any of us tarot readers are celebrities in any way. It was actually a different therapist also that told me that. I do have some background in therapy. We opened up a kind of half holistic, half clinical center a few years ago, you know, where I often do partner with both Western and Eastern medical fields, like in my own private journey and practice, I guess you could say. But again, I'm not a medical doctor. In no way, shape, or form do these readings ever give any type of professional advice. This is educational, entertainment purposes only. Disclaimer. You are going to help celebrities shift their perspective to pick and choose their battles wisely. I know how it feels to, and I'm not saying I'm channeling actually. I could say we, right? We know how it feels, or if you could empathize with that celebrity across from you, with that high value person, net worth, whatever it may be. I can sympathize and empathize with the fact that you have eyes on you 24/7, millions, to the point that you can't control. You can't even control what they say in any way, shape, or form. I can imagine how heavy that must feel at all times of the day. 5 of Swords, pick and choose your battles wisely. When you have a life that there's so many eyes on you and you can't control anything that anyone says, that is an initiation to have such self-sovereignty, to own your power, and to own the fact that nobody has control over you, but it's in a very extreme way. Think about how it felt when you were bullied at school, or mom and dad, or your sisters and brothers at home. Now imagine that times millions, and how that must feel. Seven of Coins foundation, and then the Sun card by the end of this reading. They come to you in the Three of Swords, these celebrities, these people. They walk through your door, they come out in the Sun card. You're going to give a different perspective to these people than other people do or can or have. Why the Five of Swords? For you're supposed to be working with celebrities. What do we have for the Seven of Coins? For you're supposed to be working with celebrities. Why the Seven of Coins? Why the Sun card? For you're supposed to be working with celebrities. Queen of Swords. You're going to help people who have large followings, large net worth, a lot of eyes on them, and or celebrities. You're going to help them sharpen their sword so that they can be, say, celebrities, businessmen, women, whatever it may be, of God, the CEOs of God, the whatevers of God. And so you help sharpen their sword, the Magician card over here. Why the Five of Swords and the Page of Swords? For you're supposed to be working with celebrities. You're going to meet, again, this is like, say, people who have large visibility, CEOs, celebrities. You're going to meet them when they're going through a lot over here. Five of Coins. Five of Swords. You're going to meet them when they have to, like when they're going through, law of octave, okay? For anyone who's familiar with the law of octave, you're going to meet celebrities when they're going through like a dip and when they're facing a lot. And again, it could be CEOs. What I'm getting here is they either have a high net worth, highly visible, things like that. But you're going to meet them when they're going through spiritual awakenings. Why the Seven of Coins and the Temperance card? The Knight of Coins, but you're there to remind them that they're in it for the long run. Like, you know, so on the other end of things, right? Like the people. Oh my God, that celebrity's being dragged on the internet. This is entertaining. That's someone's life. That is a human being who has a mental, emotional, physical, spiritual health. You know, you're someone you're not going to shame them. You know, like a lot of people shame people. That's not you, collective. You're going to heal people through love, not through shame. You're going to have such sympathy and empathy, and they're going to feel seen. But here's the thing. The people coming to you, they already have millions and billions of views, of followers, of people. But they're not seen. And that's the thing. You're like that high priest, high priestess of the celebrities. You see them, you understand them. But on a deep level, you understand their soul, their mission, and their mind, the way that they think. Temperance card, Knight of Coins with the Seven of Coins here. You help them realign so that they don't give up. Like, say a celebrity, you know, that like is going through something and it became like, you know, whatever it may be, like a tabloid. No, you know, this is not the end. It's a lot on the mental, emotional, physical realm, maybe even spiritual. Astrally, you're feeling lots of weight from other people and evil eyes. You can get through this. And then they do. And these are the teachings of the law of octave, which feel free to join the Patreon Blue Rose Mystery School. We teach you how to navigate all of these things. This is the law of octave right here. It's not the end, it's a dip. And things are actually about to multiply and expand when you get to the end of that cycle, you know, and the death cycle over here, death and rebirth. And so why the Queen of Swords and the Sun card? For you're meant to work with celebrities. You're going to build them back up over here. Queen of Swords, the Sun card, the Knight of Wands. We're not here to shame you. We don't want anything from you. We're not even in here trying to sneaky get to know you. We don't care about none of that. And celebrities, CEOs, people that have high visibility, they're not used to that. 144 as I say that, and that's why God has chosen you. You are just full of love. You could care less about the freaking ego. You know, what I'm also hearing in this tarot reading is you're going to be paid for your perspective. You have a very unique perspective. Yeah, it's about perspective. And part of what you do, whether say it's a therapist, a hypnotherapist, maybe you are a healer, a spiritual healer practitioner, you shift their perspective, and very specifically though of the shadow. And again, when it comes to the shadow, say just anyone, like going up to a therapist, there's a lot of guilt and shame that can come around that, right? Of like truly being able to be vulnerable and open. That's why these people come across you. There is no judgment of how big that shadow is. And I will say the shadow, say, of a celebrity and those wounds are going to be different than someone who is not, right? And sometimes it's still the same. But unless you've been through that, what does it feel like in the astral and the spiritual, mentally and emotionally, to have millions of people making fun of you all at once? You wouldn't know unless you were in it, unless you've been through that. And again, there's the example of that therapist that I know a therapist that admitted it, that she doesn't care when she has those kind of, not that she doesn't care when she has those kind of clients, but this is someone who's anti-celebrity, anti-this, anti-that. And so it might be hard to open up to someone like that. They already don't like you, And so that's what I'm seeing here. You will meet people that are going through very shadowy things, but it may, sometimes even involve a lot of money kind of thing. It's going to be big, where you have a big purpose. You're also helping people with big things. And you're going to do it through love, through privacy, is also what this is showing here. Because the goal is to heal people, right? And so if the goal is to heal people, is for everyone and everything to come together, Four of Swords, which is interesting. This was face down on the bottom of the deck after I shuffled Four of Swords. That's the goal here, is the Four of Swords, not to shame or to guilt. And so, again, your spiritual eye, your spiritual gifts, your love, ultimately, your very unique perspective, and your expertise, celebrities, CEOs, people of high visibility and net worth are going to be looking for that in you. And again, this is actually not your ego desire. This is not you that, just decided that you wanted to do it, for whatever reason. You're perfectly designed for these people. Your archetype, your blueprint, whatever resonates with you. So what is the advice for, you're supposed to be working with celebrities. Are you ready to accept the truth? Ace of Swords. Look at this crowning here too. You are meant to be working with celebrities, high net worth, CEOs, things like that. But you will be seeking, not even seeking, they're going to be seeking you. They're going to be aligning to your energy. So it's really more of you reclaiming this, knowing it. Maybe you're already doing it. But with the Ace of Swords here, you're going to help sharpen their sword. And the key word is you're only going to be sought out by, say again, CEOs, celebrities, etc. of God. They are chosen by God, which is why they also chose you. They are soulfully aligned. Ace of Swords, truth and clarity. Right, so that's what I have for you. I hope that it resonates in a positive way. What do we have for, you're meant to be working with celebrities. Why indecision? Or you're meant to be working with celebrities. You meet people when they're in the heart, when they're in the heart chakra. We do have the heart over here. Jesus distracts me too. Jesus, Yeshua. Man holding a heart over here. And Archangel Michael. So Archangel Michael can also resonate with you. You're also going to be like an Archangel Michael, to these people that you're going to be working with. You meet people when they're right in the crossroads. They don't know what comes next. They're in the root of fear, of scarcity. Should I use this as an example? This is not a yes or no deck. I'll give this example. Say like what happened with Drake, right? Everybody thought it was funny. At the end of the day, he is a human being. How do you think a human being feels of going through that by the world for not even 6 months. That went on for almost 2 years. How do you think he felt astrally, mentally, emotionally, etc.? Where again, like, we think it's funny, but we forget that there's humanity behind those screens. There is a human in those people. Those people are real, but they are the world's entertainment. The entertainers that you watch are real people. And so I give that example, which came up in the beginning of this reading, but like, for example, that, right? Which he even said that he did go to therapy during it. And, but someone who's like brought down so badly or so much or so publicly, that lost so much money, whatever it may be, that's when you meet them and you help build them back up. You help give them a different perspective to keep going. And then Drake launches an album a few years later, things like that. Ended up doing work outside of the USA, like things like that, where it's not the end when they come to you, but they're going through a deep death and rebirth, transformation. And you're like their guide that brings them back into the heart space, back into that sun card here. Okay? So that's what I have for you. I do hope that it resonates in a positive way. I'm sending you all so much love and so many blessings to your day.